All right. Oh, you go
Should
ahead.
I? Yeah, I'll introduce you, Jinren. Yeah, thank you for joining us for partner with us institutional partnerships with Creative Commons, and we have Jinren here. Jinren is the director of learning and training at Creative Commons. She develops partnerships, programs, and training to increase open access to knowledge and culture in the public interest. Prior to CC, Jenren worked at the U.S. Department of State, piloting using OER for public diplomacy and global partnerships. Prior to that, she enjoyed language studies and international development work in Egypt, Niger, and Thailand. Awesome. Yeah, take it away.
Well, thanks so much for having me. It's really an honor to be here. And I love the opportunity to chat with folks about the wonderful opportunities we have for collaborating. It's my favorite thing. So I'm really glad to have the chance to do that today. And I will share my email at the end of this. So if anybody would like to connect further, please reach out to me. It's Jenryn, Jennryn, at creativecommons.org. Okay, so really quickly, for folks who are not familiar with Creative Commons, we are a global nonprofit. We were founded about 25, almost 25 years ago. And we believe in a world where education, culture, and science are equitably shared to benefit humanity. So our work focuses on these different technical, legal, and policy solutions to enable sharing. And we work with different community groups around the world, whether they are focused on open sharing and collaboration in the cultural heritage space, in the education space, in copyright, and more. So this year, we are really delighted to be able to offer more programs, more webinars, small project funds, more training scholarships, and opportunities for collaboration than ever before. And today, I get the pleasure of telling you about some of them that are for individuals, and then others that are for institutions. So I'll focus a little bit more on some of the micro-credential partnership options at the end of this, but please do raise any questions that you might have, or feel free to unmute your microphone and ask me any questions about anything that I'm mentioning. Okay, I will share my screen and uh, let me make sure that works. Okay. Um, so the kinds of collaborations that we can envision for individuals first include some of the different work that we're already doing in our platforms or our community groups. So I mentioned we do a lot in the open education space. We have this really wonderful open education platform that I have the pleasure of managing or facilitating that just recently closed our application process for activity funds this year, but we have a lot of other ways to engage, including our quarterly meetings, our lightning talks, and more. So we always support people joining and engaging in our community there. We also have our open culture platform or community group that focuses on helping cultural heritage institutions that have digitized their collections, make sure those digital collections are open and accessible. And they're working a lot with this really wonderful civil society and government initiative called TEROC toward a recommendation on open culture heritage, which is meant to ideally explore the barriers and the solutions to creating a UNESCO recommendation for open culture. So what might be possible, looking at what collaborations are possible and so on. So the open culture platform is really diving into and leading this TEROC work. And then finally, we have our copyright platform, and I think they just launched the application process for community work in the domain of copyright. So if anybody's interested, of course, we're happy to connect you all. Okay, so those are some of our main ways for individuals to collaborate with Creative Commons through our different community groups. But we also have a number of other opportunities. So we have webinars that are on our calendar. We have custom training. So again, you can always email me, jenryn@creativecommons.org, to find out more about our custom trainings. Some are free, some are not. And then finally, we have something called the CC Certificate Program, which is our foundational training program. This is what I'm going to spend a little bit more time telling you about today because A, it's what I joined CC for, and B, there are so many wonderful avenues for collaboration with this, including our microcredentials. So the CC Certificate Training Program is um, a collection of three different um, courses. So there's a certificate for educators, a certificate for academic librarians, and then a certificate for our cultural heritage professionals in galleries, libraries, archives, and museums. And each of these courses is shared either online through like a 10-week facilitated online course for about 25 participants to one facilitator, or as a 1 week in-person or online boot camp, which is arranged upon institutional request. So our online courses are offered every January, June, and September, and they've generated such a wonderful community of experts around the world that have training now in open licensing, in copyright, in how to use CC licenses and the considerations around reuse and remixing and so on. And then also some of the considerations adjacent to that. So we bring in experts in the fields of accessibility, in terms of AI and education, and indigenous knowledge, and more. So there's a whole lot that we try to cram into those 10 weeks for folks, and we've seen some really wonderful results. So we have over 2,000 alumni from 70 countries who are really engaged in open access and open education in their respective countries in a number of different ways. So we've learned from graduates that taking the CC certificate course has helped them develop their own master's level courses in open education or undergrad courses in open education. It's been more helpful to have this basis in CC licensing to then create open policies at their institutions, or raise awareness with faculty workshops or LibGuides or other things around open education and open access on their campuses. So we're really delighted to see what our alumni audience is up to. And I will note the first micro-credential that we created was because a wonderful alumni of ours reached out, and our alumnus of ours reached out and just asked to see what would be possible for further collaboration. So our alumni are just doing really impressive things, and we are really, really grateful. So if folks cannot take the CC certificate courses, totally understandable for a lot of folks, we offer monthly office hours with our copyright lawyers. So you can have a direct line of communication with a copyright lawyer for free once a month with these office hours. We also have, as I mentioned, free webinars, and all of our course content for the certificate courses is posted online. So you are welcome to go online, find the CC BY licensed content, which includes the reading content that's updated every year, an example syllabus, and actually content that other participants have generated in their assignments for the course posted there as well. We also have a recording list on YouTube of all of our lectures and more. So you can find translations of our course content and so on. So we are really hoping that through these different offerings, we find good ways to engage with individuals and then ultimately with institutions as well. I've got all of the links to these things in the PowerPoint that will be shared afterwards. Okay, so now let's chat a little bit about micro-credentials here. We're really lucky to have the chance to explore different partnerships with institutions, whether they are academic institutions or otherwise. So we have recently started this exploration to expand and integrate our global learning program and the certificate into curricular and co-curricular offerings. So we've partnered already with some institutions to offer derivatives of our CC certificate courses for micro-credentials because everything's CC BY licensed. So you automatically have the rights, you have the permissions to take our course content and adapt it as you'd like. We love working with folks on those adaptations. And yeah, what we're doing right now is understanding what's working best in different partnerships and micro-credentials and refining those practices and inviting the community to think of other ways that we can do this. So I'll give a couple of examples and then I will stop my monologue. Um, Last year we were delighted to have the chance to work with the alumnus that I mentioned, Craig Finley at the University of Nebraska at Omaha, on this micro-credential that was launched last year. Click to it here. Hopefully you can see it. Introduction to Open Educational Resources, which was a really great experiment in how to best craft a partnership for a micro-credential. So the University of Nebraska at Omaha just is really, really filled with kind folks who were willing to help us identify the goals, roles, and responsibilities for the partnership, figure out a good cost scenario that benefited both institutions, and then integrate some flexibility. So as we were drafting things and so on, we were able to adapt where needed. So it was a really wonderful pilot partnership, and we were very honored to work with the University of Nebraska at Omaha. And then more recently, we just ran our first Library Juice Academy micro-credential in January. So that was a 4-week long course that was really a lot of fun to put together and run. I didn't run it. My colleague Shayna Hollick ran it and did a fantastic job. So now Library Juice Academy will be offering it again in, I think, August. I'll click on that link. Yeah. So there are I raised these two examples because they had slightly different kind of revenue sharing options and different models for engagement, but they both worked really well for us. So where the University of Nebraska at Omaha took the lead on crafting course content and adapting the CC certificate content in different ways. With Library Juice Academy, we took the reins on that. And there were also different kind of cost models too. So this is all to say we are flexible. We look forward to working with many more partners and seeing how the open licensing curriculum that we feel so passionately about as a tool for empowering community members in our open education spaces. We want to make sure that this is useful to your communities even more than what we currently offer. So please do reach out to us if there's anything that we can do to explore partnerships, or if there are just different ways that you want to draw from our resources and collaborate. So here's my email address, which was also posted in the chat. I'm happy to set up a conversation at any time. You'll find in my email signature a Calendly link, so you can also just book a meeting if that's easier. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing and just just pause there. So thank you all for listening and for hearing this long monologue. Are there any questions?
I had a question about you said there are some office hours for
Yes.
just general questions. I mean, those kind of questions come up all the time, and we are, librarians are not legal advice, so we're trying to help. But how do we find that information? And is it just drop in? Do we need to have an appointment?
No, they are so they're a great asset that's been kind of like I guess not trumpeted as much as they should be. Let me just put a link here so you can access this after our call. You can drop in. You don't have to make an appointment. There will be a copyright lawyer there. The copyright lawyer is in California, so the hours tend to skew towards Pacific time. But yeah, anyone is welcome at any time. And yeah, we expect any kind of question under, in the universe to kind of crop up. As I feel like as you learn more about um, a lot of the nuances of reusing CC licensed content, there will always be more questions. I still have questions for our copywriters.
especially with AI too.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Felicia. And I also see in the chat, Wade took the course. Yay! And said it was awesome. I'm so glad. Thank you for coming into this.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm in Hawaii actually, and so I took the course way back over 5 years ago. It was a great course. It was very intensive. I'm a librarian, so I took the librarian certificate. And we brought in a bunch of our colleagues at other campuses, librarians, to attend it. I think one of the things, and I took it during the summer. So one of the issues with trying to encourage new librarians and faculty to take the course is just the commitment, the time commitment. And so that's why I'm really interested in what you are sharing today, because yeah, it's just 10 weeks is a long time.
Yeah.
And for librarians, we can do it during the summer. For our instructional 9 month faculty, that's not possible. And then for them to take it during, the academic semester is really a stretch. So yeah, I guess what I wanted to say is I'll probably be reaching out to you to learn more about what you can offer.
Wonderful. Well, I can't wait. Yeah, I would love to chat with you. I will be the first to acknowledge that it is certainly a very big commitment that we expect of people. So I know participants polled generally note that they spend between um, eh, like 6 and 9, but we usually say 6 and 10 hours a week on the course. So it is yeah, it's amazing, I think, for people to complete that on top of their existing tasks. So well done. And also well done on taking the course when it was still so new. We've iterated on it so much since 2019. So
Yeah, and I'd be interested to know, kind of learn what's changed since then. And you mentioned
yeah.
indigenous knowledge, and so that's something that I'm really wanting to kind of trying to learn more about and how that kind of intersects with Creative Commons
Mm.
licenses. Yeah, so yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
absolutely. We bring in Indigenous speakers and knowledge experts representing Indigenous knowledge institutions to talk more about the overlap. So you can actually find recordings on the YouTube playlist that I can. Here we go. Let me just pull it up right now so I can give you the link. Um, in case this is easiest. That's probably our best entry point. Oh, I'm so glad that you were here and interested.
And so, Wade, you had like a whole group of folks that went through it and kind of did it together then? Is that what at your institution?
Um, so uh, so yeah. So there was a bunch of us that so I'm one of the co-leads for our system-wide OER initiative. And so at that time we offered funding to our various campus leads to undertake the course. And so there are probably about 4 or 5 of us that took it at the same time, but we were all in different kind of cohorts and groups. And I think, all librarians at that time, it was I would I highly recommend it anytime anyone is starting their to be an OER, participating as a for us a campus lead or even instructional faculty. We've encouraged them to take it. Again, it's just the matter of committing that time. So learning about the micro-credential opportunities, and then even that Library Juice Academy course that is available, it sounds like, and it's
Mhm.
4 weeks, you know, seems more, you know,
More
doable,
manageable.
more manageable. Yes, exactly. And then we have a asynchronous kind of OER 101 course that we offer to our instructional faculty. So just interested in learning about the content, knowing somewhat about the content you already have, but you have new content and how it could work with it, what a partnership might look like. I'm really interested in having that conversation with you. Uh, at another time. So thank you for offering that.
Thank you.
And I'm wondering, like so I'm hearing the time commitment of the 10 weeks. I did that OEN librarian
Hmm.
certification, and I was the only one from my institution that did it, but it's really institution based, right? Where you make an action plan for your institution. And I don't know what the Creative Commons one is like, but if there's work that would be institution wide, would it, I guess I'm trying to say, like, could you split it up so it would be less work on one person, or does it not really work like that?
It's so actually the OEN course drew from the certificate, and that's another good example of making a derivative that I should have mentioned. But um, it's it's generally an individual based learning experience, but we strongly encourage people to collaborate on their final projects. So every individual goes through the 10 weeks and has an assignment generally about every 2 weeks, but then discussion posts and so on in the meantime. And they can join all these different webinars that we offer, but are not part of the grade. But the final products or projects are meant to be like the assignments are meant to be resources that will help them at their job. So yeah, I could easily imagine a situation where an institutional cohort creates, um, one, yeah, one final project together. And we've encouraged that with other institutional cohorts. Maybe not one. We've had cohorts create, a few collaborative projects together, but yeah, beyond that, they do need to submit their own individual assignments.
Yeah, I imagine it's a good collaborative experience too to get folks on,
Yeah.
just working together at your institution. I mean, I'd love to
Yeah.
have like be like, let's get this group together and let's work together and talk about these things together and go through it
Yeah,
together.
oftentimes we don't have maybe the excuse that we need to just sit down and do that, like devote time to some kind of deliberate project or collaboration or otherwise. We offer our boot camps kind of for that purpose. So the boot camps are usually institution requested, and they usually have a specific group in mind where they um, are willing to, get together for 40 hours in a week. And that's where we see a lot more of the collaboration too. So that's where we'll have folks really dive into specific challenges that they're facing at their, on their campus or at their library or a slightly larger community, and they start to work on um, using open practices to ideally take one piece out of that challenge. Yeah, so the boot camps are a great option for that. But yeah, also we have a lot of good flexibility in the course for folks to collaborate as long as they're doing their own homework generally. I think I'm not wrong in saying that. I'll have to check with Shayna on the latest.
Oh, cool. Um, how about I think 5 more minutes for any other questions or comments.
And I'm always happy to take questions after if there's anything that you just need more time to percolate on. So, yeah, please feel free to reach out about anything.
Yeah, and we are recording this, so I'm going to send it out because it was my fault that the the Zoom link was not available right away. I apologize for that. So I'll send it
No
out,
problem.
um, but hopefully folks will reach out to you maybe in the future.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Any other questions? Okay. Yeah, thank you so much, Jinren.
Thank you too.
All right. Bye.